Hello, my name is Sam Udani. I'm the publisher of Immigration Daily and ILW.com. I'm sure you've read the disclaimers already that were displayed, but I want to repeat, this is not legal advice, this is not financial advice. This information is intended for EB5 industry professionals, primarily attorneys and issuers. There is grave, urgent items which are facing this industry, and that is the reason why we are using this amazing medium of YouTube to get this message out to as many people as fast as we can. A bit of background about ILW for those of you in the industry who have not heard of us. There must be a few like that, I'm sure. We have been law publishers for about 20 years. We have published 24 books on immigration law, covering every area of immigration law, and we've been privileged to have almost 200 immigration attorneys write in our publications. We've also done 600 seminars on immigration law, covering every area of immigration law for immigration lawyers. These are called CLE seminars, continuing legal education seminars. In EB5, we have done more than 250 events in 14 countries in the last 7 years. So we have a significant global footprint in EB5. This video is about the grace period. And this is very, very important because it is simultaneously a threat and an opportunity for the industry. So it is very critical, this grace period point, and I request you to pay attention. There are 3 points I'm going to make about this grace period: whether it ought to be there at all with this new regulation that's coming out, what is its duration, and why is it important, and so what do you do about it? I'm going to cover all those three very quickly. So the grace period is called a deferred effective date, and it's from the Administrative Procedure Act, which governs all regulations that are made in the United States. And it's not an option or up to the discretion. It is a requirement under the Administrative Procedure Act. The Administrative Procedure Act states that there be either a 60-day grace period for what is called a major rule or a 30-day grace period for all other rules. And it also specifies 3 exceptions which may go into effect upon publication in the Federal Register without a grace period. So let's go through all those 3 elements. First, this rule, the new EB5 regulation, is not a major rule. How do we know that? Because OIRA at OMB determined that on June 27th. Their conclusion of their review of the new EB5 regulation stated that this is not a major rule. So therefore, it doesn't need to have a 60-day grace period per the APA. And therefore, we fall back to the default, which is a 30-day grace period. Now, the 3 exceptions are at 5 USC 553, 5 USC 553, section D1, D2, and D3. And as best as I understand them, this rule does not fall under any of those 3 exceptions. In other words, there has to be a deferred effective date, which means we will have a grace period. 30 days is what is the default. However, there has been some discussion that it is possible that the agency may give a slightly longer grace period, such as 40 or 45 days. But essentially, 30 days is what we can count on under the Administrative Procedure Act. Now, why is it important? It's important because it's a very simple proposition that every human being can understand. Do you want the EB5 benefit for getting a green card for yourself and your family at the $500,000 today? Or would you rather wait a couple of months after the new rule is in effect and get that same benefit for whatever elevated amount is in the rule? That elevated amount could be 800,000, could be 1 million, could be higher than that. Now, if a human being is faced with that choice, I don't think it takes too much common sense to figure out that most human beings who are already on the cusp of making a decision for their families will, come off the fence and say, yes, this is the time. I need to get my act together and get this papers filed for this immigration benefit. And that is why it is so important. There could be as many as 25,000 people across the various countries of the world who in the last 1 year have been seriously considering EB5 for their families. Now, this is the moment of truth for them. They got to either come off the fence or not. I expect about 4,000 will. And that is the reason why I expect that during this grace period, once this rule has been published in the Federal Register, which should happen, touch wood, in the week of July 8th, sometime during that week, at that point, within the 4 weeks after that, there will be approximately 4,000 investments that will come in. This is a gigantic amount of investments for the industry at this stage. Pretty much every open issue that exists today will be fully subscribed at the end of this grace period. So the sun is shining, we must make hay. And that is why the grace period is important. I urge everyone in this industry to take this very seriously, despite the fact that it's summer, despite the fact that it's July, despite the fact that people have vacations planned and family time planned. This is not the time to twiddle thumbs and take it easy. This is the time to act. After the grace period is over, when the elevated amounts are in effect, we'll face a moribund industry. We'll face a situation where there will be no activity, investment activity, for months until the industry recovers from the higher amounts. There'll be plenty of time for vacations at that point. Now is not the time to sit and relax. Now is the time to act. Act now. Thank you.